So I figured I'd do a quick and easy video on this. This is my Super Beetle here. I've had a problem this year, and that is that my hubs have come loose, and the reason for this is that I've been bad and I haven't actually torqued my axle nuts correctly. I've used, air impact wrench, a big breaker bar, and I just haven't gotten them tight enough. So I purchased the correct Torque Meister tool, which is a geared reduction, allows you to tighten those up to the giant 500 foot-pound spec, or I think it's something like that. But the challenge is I have the Porsche pattern on my hubs. I've got 5x130. This tool is made to do 5x205, the wide 5 pattern, or 4x130, the late model pattern. Now, I've already got a solution for this, and the plan is to take some scrap metal here and create an adapter. This adapter will have 2 holes of the 4x130 pattern and 1 hole of the 5x130 pattern. And so I will use that adapter to help guide the drill bit for clearancing out a spot for the 5x130 pattern on this tool, and also reinforcing it for when I do bolt it onto the hub, because this will have, I've got the 2 4x130 holes here. The 5x130 hole will be somewhere around here, and so it'll be kind of half on, half off this. So the drill bit will want to walk off for one, but also, I just, it'll only be half on this, so I want to reinforce that so it's nice and sturdy. This version I bought here is the Impy version, and I don't know, I got this because it's got a little recess here, so I can make my adapter really nice and it'll fit right in there and stuff. So anyways, let me show you how I've found how I'm able to locate this hole. What I'm going to use for that is this tool. This is an XY vise I have on my drill press. And what this allows me to do is move it around like I would with a mill by turning handles here and here. In order to get the coordinates, I used just any 3D program will work to do this. I used Blender just because I'm familiar with it, I know how to use it, and I located the hole based off the other holes using Blender. And so I have coordinates that are based off of one of the holes. So I'll drill my first hole, then use my coordinates to move to the next 4x130 hole, and then move my X coordinate over and Y coordinate over to get to my 5x130 hole. And that's the plan of attack. So I'm gonna cut out a piece of scrap and we'll start drilling some holes. All right, got my not even bolted down vise, a brand new grinder, looking like a total newbie with brand new tools here. Anyways, I've marked out a square cut here. I'm gonna cut this square first so that it's easy to fit in the vise. I can get it set up well, get my holes drilled, and then cut it to shape and make it fit really nice, because I don't know, I'm kind of picky like that. Probably should put on some safety. Got some eye hole protection, some ear hole protection. This whole not having the vise bolted down thing is real sketch. Okay, now I've got my tool set on top of my plate that I just cut. I'm going to just kind of scribe out the holes so I can get a general idea of where the centers are. Cool. Off to the drill press. Cool. Now, if I was a proper machinist, I would have something called parallels. And parallels would allow me to raise up my workpiece in the vise so that I'm able to drill holes through it. But I don't have parallels. So instead, I have a small block of wood that's, of course, narrower than my piece here. I clamp it in my vise. I'm going to sit on top of the wood. I do that because I saw it on the internet. Now this vise, I've actually got it bolted down, but these things still have a little bit of play, so you got to be cognizant of the backlash in your wheels. So let's see. First drill bit, I'm going to run a center drill, and the center drill is intentionally short so that they're sturdy and they won't waddle off the center. Give ourselves enough room, so I'm moving this vise back this way in order to drill this hole. I'm going to call this 0. So we'll move our vise this direction, and I'm going to unlock my table height and table rotation. Raise it up. And I'm going to use my movements here to position my first hole. This doesn't have to be crazy accurate, but once I'm here, I don't want to have to readjust everything. I'm going to unlock my table rotation, lock the height, and other rotation. Oh no. There we go. Okay, it's nice and sturdy. Now I'll go ahead and drill my first hole. I might use a little oil on this. Cock. Let's take out the backlash there on the hole. Didn't really think that through. Oops. Okay, so I've taken out the backlash in my lead screw in this direction. I'll hold the knob and reset my dial to 0. So now I need to move a specific amount that way. And in order to do so, I've got my dimensions written down. I'm moving to 150.94 millimeters. I'm going to call that 151 because I'm not going to be able to move my wheel set exactly. So I'll say 151, and I know that each rotation of the wheel is 3 millimeters. So 50.3 rotations on the wheel, and then we'll take 50 times 3, so 150, and then 1 plus 1 millimeter on the wheel. So I'll move 50 rotations. Alright, so I did my math wrong. Okay, so, yeah, actually a couple things. I was looking at the wrong number, and I was calculating wrong. So it's actually 92 millimeter. 92 millimeters divided by 3, 30. So I'm at 30.6, so 13. So I need 30 and then 2 millimeters. So 15, 30, 31, 2. This XY vise has a lot of backlash in it. Okay, cool. That's my next position. Drop a little oil there. And we'll so there's a 92 millimeter position. Now I need to come back to a 75.5 mil. Yep, that looks right. We can go ahead and drill it. Oh, now this hole here is not going to be bolted through. This hole is going to, this hole will be bolted through, and this hole will be bolted through on the 5x130 pattern. So this hole, I'm actually going to tap with a 3/8x16 bolt thread so that I can bolt a cap screw from the bottom, and that cap screw just happens to have a 14 millimeter outside diameter, so it will index in the tool and locate it on that where the 14 mil stud would go. So now I've got my holes drilled here. I'm going to go up to a 9/16 bit here, drill out this hole and this hole to 9/16, which is close to 14 millimeter, but I'm in the US here, so it's hard to find drill bits which are 2 metric standard. But first, I've got somewhere to be, so I'll pick this up later today or tomorrow. Okay, it's a new day, it's a new drill bit, it's a new sweater, but it's not a new sweater, it's just a different sweater. Anyways, got my 9/16, now I'm going to bore these out at 9/16. We found the limits of the Morris taper chuck. Oh, fuck. In case you didn't know, that's how drill chucks fit into their drills. Alright, there we go. Now these should be 2 holes that'll fit 5x130 pattern. I'll check that on the car. Well, I just test fitted on the car and it didn't fit, so it looks like I screwed this up. I'm going to see if maybe I can open this hole up a little bit. Kind of doubt it. Oh, okay. There you go. There's one solution. So I think that might work. I'm going to go test fit on the car now. Okay, that still didn't work. I think I'm going to just start over. I'm going to cut a new piece of metal, re-drill my holes. So I think what I'll do this time is do my center drills first, leave a taper, and then the 9/16, and that'll center up better and give me more accurate dimensions. Also, I'm not 100% sure I even drilled this in the right spot. It could be that I just didn't count off my turns right. So anyways, take 2. Okay, I'm set up again here. We're at 0. I'm setting my dials at 0. There's my dials. Okay. I also kind of tightened up my gibs a little bit here. Drop a little oil on there, because why not? And everything's tightened up. Let's get to drilling. Now you might notice I'm taking kind of stabs at it. The reason I do that is that there's not a lot of flute here in the center drill, so you need to back out every now and then to let the chips exit. So now I need to very carefully do my moves here. Okay, 75.5 to get to here. Divide that by 3, we get 25.16, which is 25 turns, and then another half a millimeter, I believe. Yes. Okay. 25 millimeters, or 25 revolutions there. I need to come another half a millimeter right there. Cool. That should be good. Now I need to come over 12 millimeters, which is 4 revolutions on this dial. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 there. And yeah, that looks correct. It looks correct in that it's a little bit further this way than it was on the previous piece, which is how that one was off. So yeah. Quick, just before I make it all the way through, let me double check that distance with the calipers. Yep, that looks bang on. Okay. Proceed. The other thing to note here is that I'm not going all the way through on these. I'm leaving the taper of the center drill in there so that the 9/16 bit can follow these holes. On this hole, I will go all the way through because this one needs a 5/16 hole, and this is a 5/16 bit. Okay, so now I need to move back over 12 millimeters so that I can drill this hole. So we'll take this back. 1, 2, 3, past 4, and then come back this way to 4 revolution. Okay, now I've moved 25 mils or 25 revolutions this way. I need to go to 92 millimeter. So 92 divided by 3, 30.6. So that's 30 revolutions and then 2 more millimeter. So I'm already partially through my 26 revolutions. So there's 26. 7, 8, 29, 30, then half a mil, 1 mil, 1.5, 2. There's my 92 millimeter dimension. Yep, that was right on target. Another thing of note here is that I'm putting a pretty good amount of feed pressure on this. You want to see a nice chip coming off of it. If you're not seeing a good chip, either your bit's dull or you're not allowing the bit to cut, which means it's just spinning against the metal, generating friction, which can wear out your bit. Okay, now I need to change over to my 9/16 bit. This problem again. Okay. When you feel the bit getting towards the end of the cut, I usually ease up on the feed pressure or else it can catch. So now I'm going to come back to the other spot. And you know what? I've kind of given up on trying to count up my turns for the anyways, I've kind of given up on counting my turns because I think it's a better way to find center is to kind of watch the bit and watch it how it wants to move around in the 2 directions. So I'm spinning this bit around until it lines up with the axis I'm trying to figure out. That's it, we're through. Now, carefully remove this from the vise and go dump it off into the trash can. There's the piece. Now, let's go fit it up to the car. Got my part here, got the hub. We'll see how it fits. It should be going on more like that. Right there. Like a glove, that is perfect. That is right on. That is exactly what I want. So I think my problem here, what I had going in the first take was, first off, when I drilled these holes, sitting on the XY table like this, I drilled this hole first, this hole second, and this hole last, which made for some really confusing counting off on my XY table. So this time, I drilled here first, here second, and then here third. This is, of course, I mean with the center drill. And then as I came back through with the final size, you know, the chuck and whatever on the drill press aren't that accurate. So the drill bit will kind of want to find the hole, so it's less critical. My positioning is less critical with the final size. I came in here and just kind of felt out the hole, so whichever one, when the quill came down, moved the bit less. Just, by feel. I didn't actually count off turns. So I took these out to their final size. I think that led to a more accurate part. I think likely what happened the first time is I simply drilled this hole with the center drill in the wrong place to begin with. This worked out well. Now it's time to drill the hole through the actual tool, and that's going to be, that might be tough. I don't know, that tool might be hard. We'll have to see. I spoke too soon. Actually, what I'm going to do is take this hole here, this 5/16 hole, and hit it with my 3/8/16 tap, so that I can take and run this bolt through it. This bolt being the bolt which has a 14 millimeter outside diameter on the head, so that it indexes into the Torque Meister tool. Cool. I think I'm going to have to turn this down in the lathe to make the head of it shorter, so that it won't poke out the back side of the tool, which would of course hold it off the chassis. So let's think about this now. I got this, say it's bolted on. I need to tighten my wheel. Axle. So what that means is the gear will be turning this way. So we'll be wanting to rotate this in this direction. It's going to want to lift this in, it's going to want to push this in. So I'm thinking probably what's going to be safest is to place this on a lug stud, because this is going to want to be, it's going to have a moment like that, so probably put the lug stud here and put the redrilled hole here. So yeah, so that's correct. You're right. So let's stand up like this, and end up like that. Now, in order to drill this hole, flip this over, because I want to come in on the flat side, so I can set this against it cleanly. If I'm flipping it over, this over, so I'll flip my bolt around to the side. Let's really quick see if this is hardened. Crappy old file here. It seems to gouge into it pretty good. I think this is probably soft enough to drill. I shouldn't have a problem. If it is too hard, I could just take it and take a torch to it and heat it up red hot. Aha! I found something. M14 tap. That'll do. So now I'm going to mount this piece in the XY vise, and we'll drill out that hole using 9/16 drill bit. And oh boy, this might be a shit show. We'll see. Okay, so I've got this very sketchy setup here. Found a piece of wood that was just kind of the right size. A workpiece. Well, what we'll do is we'll try and use the XY vise here to locate the part just right. Well, this is supremely sketchy. I imagine probably what's going to happen is the chuck's just going to fall out, because that tends to be happening. But we'll see. a nice rigid setup, I would say, by low drill pressing standards. Yeah, this ain't gonna freaking work at all. Well, that's not gonna do it. I'm going to try, and this is a little bit crazy, but I'm gonna try a router bit. Previously, I've had pretty good luck using a router bit. Things that I really shouldn't be doing. Smack that in there well. This router bit is a little fucked. Alright. Now I'm going to take it and change my speed up to a high RPM, like, we'll try 1,000. Ready for some sketchy action? Here we go. Doing better than the drill bit was. So this is probably useless to put oil on that. Yeah, I think it's not cutting in the middle. I could knock that area out. Pretty good. Not bad. See, it's not cutting right here in the center. So I think I might come from the other side and try and drill that out. We'll kind of bust that area out and then see if I can just let that 1/2-inch bit pocket in there. All right, it's sketchy, but I think it'll work. Sorry, I missed drilling this second hole, and I also ground out like the little bridge that was remaining. Here we go. Actually, let me double check. Yeah. There you go, sketchy, but it works. Once I cut out that center point of the router bit, it cut right through it. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is a carbide tipped router bit, so that's why it can cut it. But you know, this is a bit you can pick up at Lowe's or something for 20 bucks. Now let's see if my bit fits in here. This other way, so okay, fit that through there. Let's see if it'll fit up on the car. That's the real test. So I just offered this up on the car and didn't bother bringing the camera over, but if you see here, there's actually a little ear that sticks into the way here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over to the grinder and grind that off, and then it should fit. That might fit. Okay, with the car here, got my tool, freshly ground here. We'll just take. Oh, cool. So everything stacks up now. The only thing left to do now is to take and see how. Yeah, that fits something nice. Now that could work on its own too, but this will end up like this. So I'll be taking that way. But now I need to clearance the plate so that it fits down against down into the channel here. So I need to cut a kind of a curve into it. But yeah, well, that's pretty nice there, if I do say so myself. You know, I might even be able to just throw the lug nuts on that and just call it good. Yeah, you know what? I think I might try it actually just like that. Got the tool on here. I need to set my torque wrench to 30 pounds. Put on my little 11mm socket. So that shows that I should have enough torque on there. Come on. Make sure I've got room to get the cotter pin. I'm going to swap over to a breaker bar and just go a little bit tighter. So you can torque it up and then torque it down. And looks pretty good. Okay, so that's it. Torque Meister tool adapted to 5x130 bolt pattern. And of course, don't forget fresh new cotter pin. It is recommended that you do your cotter pin brand new every time. I find that you can get by with only doing it every 2 times or so. And there we go.